Hello, this is Lee from Woodland Classroom and I'm on the Cornish coast today, and I'm going to talk to you about a plant that we don't very often see where we live, but while we're at the coast we're seeing loads of it, and it's Rock Samphire. It's a little bit of a marmite in the foraging world. Some people love it, some people hate it, but in history it's been very popular, so definitely one to have a look at. Now, you've probably heard of and enjoyed samphire, perhaps with fish. That will be marsh samphire, and that's a totally different plant and unrelated to the rock samphire that we're talking about today. Now, in the 19th century, this plant was very popular. It would get shipped off to London, pickled, and that was its preferred way of eating. Now, the poorer person who was trying to gather revenue would hang off cliff faces by ropes in order to gather this plant, which also tells us a little bit about where we might find it. So cliff edges, salt sprayed rock faces, that sort of place. But yeah, became very popular, shipped off to London, but because it was revenue for people perhaps in the West, it became known as poor man's samphire, or sea fennel was another name for it. So as with most of our wild greens, spring is always an excellent time to forage, although you can harvest this plant any time of the year, but it's always going to be the tastiest, most nutritious parts, that fresh new growth that actually tastes the best. But as you can see here, that's the new growth coming out there. The difference in colour, it's a much fresher spring green compared to the darker green here, although this is still just as edible, just perhaps not as tasty. Now, this is a very typical habitat and place to find this plant. We're right on the seashore, so rocky pebbles. It thrives off the sea salt in the air, but it doesn't like wet feet, so nowhere where the tide will cover it, but really close to that salty spray that comes up from the sea. But you'll find it in abundance, especially because it's got quite a strong flavour that not everyone loves. It's not going to be foraged a lot. So this plant isn't difficult to identify. Like a lot of the coastal plants, it's got almost like a succulent, waxy, shiny feel. Let's have a closer look. Here we go. I find it quite an attractive plant. I like the way it kind of spreads almost like tree branches and twigs from a thick stem. It's got long, thin, pointed leaves, and it has this sprawling effect. It just spreads over rock faces, just like you're seeing here. But another key feature is the smell. It actually smells of kerosene, and that's because of the alpha-pinene in the plant. So we can actually pick that up when we taste it and when we've been handling it on the smell on our fingers. Not everyone's going to enjoy the taste of kerosene, but it's definitely there, so it's a really good identifying feature. It's May now, but later in the year we're going to see flowers on this plant, and they're going to be umbels of flowers, a lot like other carrot family plants. This is in the carrot family. They also have umbels, and those flowers are 5 petals, mostly white, perhaps slightly pale green to yellowy, but predominantly white. So look out for those later in the year. Right, let's give it a try. I'm going to take some of this young, tender, fresh growth. Wow, that's a strong, powerful flavour. Yeah, I can definitely get that kerosene flavour coming out. I can see why people don't like it. It might grow on me. We've pickled a jar yesterday, so I'm wondering how that might change the flavour, improve it, because it was certainly very popular in its heyday. But some other things you could do with it, perhaps steam it in butter and some white pepper, boil it. Yeah, like I say, the pickling was a very popular way. Love doing it, and we've taken the recipe from John Wright's edible Seashore book, highly recommended by the way. And yeah, maybe we'll try it later and see if that changes the flavour. But wow, yeah, love or hate for sure. So I'm going to try pickled now. This is the John Wright recipe. It's got apple cider vinegar, sugar, lemon zest, peppercorns and a bay leaf. So let's see how it changes the flavour. But bearing in mind we have only been pickling it for the last 3 days. But let's try. Drip off some of that vinegar. Oh yeah, that is much better. Now I'd eat that with pleasure, I think. Perhaps on the side with some cheese and crackers. Yeah, I think that's much improved. It's a win. So if it's not your favourite flavour in the world, why would you actually want to get it in your diet? Well, there's some very good reasons. It is extremely high in vitamin C, and sailors used to use it to keep scurvy at bay. But it's also full of antioxidants, minerals, vitamin E, K and omega-3 fats. So that's Rock Samphire. If you have a go at pickling it or tasting it, please let us know in the comments below what you thought. And if you're interested in finding out about more wild foods, including coastal foraging, then you can check out in the links below our online course, which is called Your Wild Food Year, and it takes you through every month of the wild food calendar. And also, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell if you want to see more videos just like this. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.